Welcome back to the Shop Mini RC, everybody. I'm Ken, and today we are looking at our first ever Rlaarlo. Look at this guy. How cool is that? And how fitting that it's a they say 1/14th. We'll see. It might be a little smaller than that. I don't know. We'll see when we get it out. We'll compare it to some other trucks. We'll open it up, show you what's inside. We'll go run it. This guy's 3S, and I hear it does like 100 kilometers. Look at this. It says right there, 100 kilometers an hour. That's a lot of miles per hour. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. All those things. If you like the channel, you like the video, you like what we're doing, we appreciate all the support that all of our channel members and subscribers and viewers give us. You guys are awesome. You're why we do this. And yeah, we're going to get into this little basher over here. Looks like it's going to be a blast. And I'm excited. Like I said, we're going to get deep into this guy. If you're new to our channel, we usually go pretty deep. We do all things mini. Sometimes we do larger stuff as well, but we always hit the crawlers, the racers, and the bashers in the minis. So I'm definitely excited to get our first Rlaarlo. From what I've seen, the Rlaarlo trucks are just bulletproof. They're super durable. They also seem to perform pretty well. So I'm way excited to check out this newest Rlaarlo. So yeah, let's go on this journey together. So this little box is it's pretty small, but it's definitely got some weight to it. This is the brushless version, and there are two different colors that they're offered in, or two different liveries. One is the red and the black, which is I think which we got, and then the black here, which actually looks pretty sharp now that I see it up close as well. Look at these knobby big old tires on there. It says it's 14 plus 1/14 scale, 70 to 100 kilometers. That's going to be nutso. Look at the inside here. Again, we're going to dive deep into this. I just want to show you the box. You can always pause and read anything on here that you might want to read. There's some of the goodies in there. Limited slip center shaft. That's cool. Not quite a center differential. Center differential would be kind of cool too, but it's definitely nice that it's got a slipper clutch on there. Comes with a 3S. That's a 2200 3S. That's pretty nuts. A nice 4-channel looks like. 45 amp brushless, 3600 kV, all that good stuff. Yeah. All right. Let's dive into this guy. Some slaps, some stickers. Ooh, a big sheet of stickers. What is all this goodies? All right, we'll get into this in a minute. Looks like we got some extra stuff in there. And there she is. Let's go. Oh, right off the bat. What? Hold on. Is this a scale basher? Is that what we're going to call this guy? How freaking cool is that? It's got little scale details. We got some gas or water tanks here. Little hard case. Another hard case. And then a fire extinguisher, because safety first. I also love that these things that have tethers. It's got tethered body clips. Freaking sweet. You almost always have to add these, and I love tethers on my body clips on the bashers. Freaking awesome. Oh, and lights. Oh man, this thing looks like it's got it all. All right. Just kidding. It's not AAAs. I thought I was going to throw AAAs in there. It's AA's. Make sure you read those warm tips there. Just talking about your trims and your throttle dual rates. Let's see what else came with this guy. Some awesome stickers. Instruction book. More of an instruction poster. Let's see. All right. Well, there's the exploded view and all the parts. There's info on the transmitter. 4-channel, 3-channel, internal antenna position, dual rocker, directional rocker, steering wheel, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, you can pause and read that. Just kidding. It's a lot of languages. One thing it does say is that it's waterproof. Well, water resistant vehicle with waterproof electronics. Says it is not, let's see, while the entire vehicle is highly water resistant, it is not completely waterproof, and your vehicle should not be treated like a submarine. It's not a submarine, guys. It says right there. But it does say it's good, good for being out in the wet and maybe in the mud. Just don't submerge it. All right, we'll dive into the rest of this. Let's see what we've got here. Like we got a hex wrench, some zip ties, some double-sided sticky tape. Are those diff seals? What? Gaskets for the diff? That's cool. Larger pinion, I believe. I think this is to get that 100 kilometers an hour, which, by the way, guys, that's going to be 62.14 miles per hour over here in the US. So we'll see if it hits that. Should be pretty quick though on 3S. Wheelie bar, nice. And then our charger. It's a 3S USB charger, which is nice. We have a billion of these little 2S guys, but now we've got a USB charger for a 3S. Now I still highly recommend using a hobby grade charger. Check out our channel if you're looking for some reviews on some really good higher end hobby grade chargers that can charge all the way up to 6S and make sure that you're charging safely. I don't know anything about this particular USB charger, but I have seen in the past some USB chargers, they don't necessarily handle your batteries as well as they should, and sometimes they can be dangerous. So just keep that in mind. These things are good in a pinch, but never leave them charging unattended. Always make sure if you're charging a battery, you are nearby and it's sitting somewhere safe, not sitting on a pile of matches or your carpet or something. Do logical things. All right, let's take a closer look at the actual truck itself. Now, I'm really digging that they give you a bunch of scale stuff. Like, how cool is that in like a mini basher? I freaking love it. I almost wonder if we can throw this on one of our crawler trucks, like this body. Pull off these top pieces, maybe. Could be a cool crawler body. Especially if they sell them separate. We need to get our stickers on there, though. But man, how cool is that? The Lexan seems good. I like that it's a hardened front grille. And this is also really cool, the fact that this is hard plastic, and a lot of times the back of the, where the trucks mount our body clips on the back especially, they like to fold and break quite easily. So this is going to be completely reinforced, which is awesome because it's a hard plastic. So hopefully that'll last longer than just if it were Lexan. So I'm excited for that. All right. Yeah. Oh, these mirrors. Who knows if these are going to last. They're a little hard. They should have made these mirrors rubber, like a softer rubbery material. This is definitely a hard compound. They will probably break off or rip out of the Lexan at some point, but who knows? We'll see. Maybe the tires are big enough to where it doesn't actually hit the mirrors much. We're mostly going to hit like, here and the tires. So maybe the mirrors will survive. We'll see. All right, there's the beauty. Look at the inside. Oh, this looks quality. Oh man, I didn't even notice that. How sick is that? Now, I've seen some of their larger scale chassis have awesome etchings in them, but this is just freaking sweet. Tear up the dirt. Nice. What is this sticker? This sticker's ruining everything. Yeah, we're going to get this sticker out of here. This thing's ugly. Nobody wants to see this. Give us that beautiful etched art. Bam! We didn't even talk about what this thing is called. This is called the Gladiator, or the ROG1. It stands for Rlaarlo Off-Road Gladiator V1. So pretty cool. You can see it right there. It says Gladiator. But yeah, ROG1, ROG1. Pretty cool. I like that. That's fun. Man, this just looks cool though, right? Like, so this is this chassis right here is all metal. So that's cool. And then you've got these super kind of flexy sides. Oh, I dig that. It means you're less likely to break or crack any of the chassis in here, the external chassis parts. How are the A-arms? Do they feel like they're kind of flexy? They feel a little flexy. I don't know if you can see me bending it, but I'm bending just a little, so that's good. Because in a basher, you kind of want the plastic to be kind of flexy, right? How's the front and rear bumpers? Yeah, rear bumper's pretty good. Flexy. What about the front guy here? Oh yeah, nice and flexy. Good. It's got this extra kind of brace or shock absorber. It's not really shock, but like absorbing plastic structure. Mounts here are pretty flexy, so that's good. What about this guy? Not too bad. Oh, that's good. I like that. I like that. Looks like our shock tower mounts are all metal, though. That's aluminum, so that's cool. It says right there, Rlaarlo. What does that say over on the side? I can't see it. SOSI? 4x4 off-road. SOSI. Is that what that says? Does it say it anywhere else on the bottom here? Trying to see if I could find Rlaarlo Club. Outdoor cross country. Outdoor cross country is what that says. Rlaarlo Club. Anyway, yeah, I was trying to read what that little SOS alloy. That's what that says, actually. And you can see it down in there. It says tear up the dirt also on that shock tower. Pretty cool. All right. So that's looking nice. These shocks are feeling nice and soft. Well oiled for sure. We'll probably open those guys up, show you what's inside. Adjustable turnbuckles here. Both for our steering, so we can do our tow, the steering turnbuckles, so we can tow it. And then also up here, so we can get our camber. Even on the rear, we've got some camber. What? Is that an anti-roll bar or a sway bar in there? I think it freaking is. Do you see that? Hold on. Right here. Look at that. This little guy right there is an anti-sway bar. What? They're on the front too! They're on the front too! How cool is that? So that should help keep this guy a little more stable for sure. Interesting. Is it actually lifting the side? So a real sway bar, one that's working decently, should, when you lift this, should lift both sides, right? And it looks like it lifts it just barely. It's probably taking a little bit of the pressure off. Oh yeah, it is. So I can feel it here, but then when I lift that, it definitely drops in. So like I'm putting pressure on it. I'm not going to change that pressure. Lift this, and then look, at the whole thing goes in. Nice. Yeah, so it's working. That's freaking awesome. I have not, we've got a couple mini bashers and a couple bigger ones, but I've never seen a sway bar in a basher of this size. Freaking crazy. Okay, cool. Cool. What else we got here? I also like that all this is metal with plastic ends, which is super nice. That way you've got a little bit of flex in the plastic, but then you're still, the strength of the metal here in the center. Plus it's a turnbuckle, so you want to be able to adjust it. But yeah, that should be nice and sturdy. I like that the tires are actually the same diameter on the outside as they are on the inside. On some bashers, they'll have it like look super thick on the front here. You have like this big thick tire, but when you look at the back, it's all super thin. So at least this is consistent. Also, it feels like there's foams in there. They are glued on, but just like most bashers. But there should be foams. They are vented. So that's good. I dig that. Let's get this battery out of here. So we're looking at a 2200 milliamp 3S with a 35C sustained. Okay. Our C rating is 35. I'm kind of surprised it's a 35C versus something higher like a 50 or a 70, but should still be good. Should still give us plenty of power. I mean, their speed claims are pretty nuts, so we'll see if we can hit it. One thing I'm noticing after I take that battery out is there's a screw hole that goes right here, for the chassis, and it kind of protrudes quite a bit into the battery area. And there are some foams under here, so maybe it's not going to be putting too much pressure on there. But I just worry sometimes when I see things in the battery compartment that are pushing up against the battery, especially these are soft case batteries, right? It's not a hard case battery. If you end up having a real hard hit and that battery pushes on to that point, that's how you get lipo fires or damaged batteries. Now, it doesn't feel like in this battery here there's any sort of indentation from that little screw or protrusion molding, because there's foam there, but it would never hurt to put a little bit of extra padding in there if you could. I do like that this is flexy. You get that battery in and out really easily. Yeah. Seems good. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start diving in here. Hold on. Actually, is this thing on a hinge? It looks like we're on a hinge here. So you could actually probably pop this whole rear open and hinge this up to get access to your diff and stuff in there, or your slipper clutch. I do like that there's a heat sink on this motor. Oh, and an adjustable motor mount. Look at that. So you can adjust your motor when you go to the larger pinion. That's awesome. I hate when they don't give you slotted adjustable motor mounts. There's no reason to not do that. You should always be able to adjust your motor. Part of the white servo horn club there. No servo saver on there. We'll see how it lasts. At least not there. Maybe. Oh, servo saver's built in here. So you can see right here on this linkage, there's a servo saver in there a little bit. See it lift? I don't know if you can see that lift up, but yeah, it kind of lifts up in there. Yeah, so you got a little bit of servo saver there, so that's good. Bashers always do well to have a servo saver. You don't want to be busting stuff. The diffs have different grease in them. Yeah, they feel about the same. Yeah, maybe the rear's a little thicker. Maybe a tiny bit. All right, what else we got? What else we got? Nice fan on top of the ESC, so that's good. Again, this is a 45 amp ESC. And again, that 2945 size 3600 kV motor, 3S capable. Looks like it's going to be beastly. I love the look of this thing. Like, it just looks quality, right? All the etching, all the different materials from the aluminum here. It's aluminum grade 6061 chassis, all countersunk screws, all hex heads. Everything on here is hex head. I haven't seen any Phillips heads on here, so that's freaking awesome. The motor, even the motor, you probably can't see it, but the motor looks like it's got some etching on it down in there. It just, the receiver case, little antenna here, all the greens, man, it looks sharp. It's just a sharp looking truck for sure. I am like blown away at the quality of this thing. And from my understanding, it's going to be under 160 bucks. And it's like $150. So definitely check out the link below. We're going to have a link to where you can pick it up directly from Rlaarlo, maybe some other places as well, but definitely check that link, see what the price is, because I hate to say prices because they always change. You never really know. Sometimes they go on sale. Sometimes they're different based on where you live. So definitely just click that link down there and check it out. It is probably an affiliate link, so it will help the channel, but it doesn't cost you anything extra, and we appreciate the support. Let's just go through the bullet points. We'll just do the quick bullet point run through. And yeah, then we're going to start diving into it and getting all the different measurements and stuff. So again, the body, it's made out of polycarbonate. It is a 1.2 millimeter thick polycarbonate, so it's actually pretty good. All the plastics up here to help with protection and durability, obviously. Tethered clips, freaking sweet. Love that. And then again, the chassis, like I just said, 6061 aerospace grade aluminum alloy. Definitely going to be strong with the combined plastics, so I'm excited for that. It's 2 millimeters thick, so it's no joke there. It's going to be pretty quality and pretty durable. The ground clearance is said to be 50 millimeters, so that's plenty of good ground clearance there. We'll measure these tires here in a little bit. Shock mounts are also 6061. These guys here, they're 3 millimeter thick though, so nice to have some aluminum shock mounts. And then the shocks here, actually, the oil-filled shocks are CNC aluminum shock housings. But then the cap here, the part that actually mounts to the shock tower, is a plastic. So there'll be a little bit of flex there, which is nice. Because when these are all metal, you know, your bottom link as well as your top cap, when that's all metal all the way through, even into your shock tower, that you're going to end up breaking and bending things quite often. So giving yourself some plastic weak points, even though they're not going to be weak, they're places of flex, places of deflection. When you hit something, it'll deflect some of that shock. It's super important. Also adjustable right here. Pretty sweet that that's adjustable. And we have, looks like 3 shock mounts on the shock tower. So that's good. So 5 total different mounting positions. Pretty sweet. We also can do our preload on our shock collars here if you want to preload that up so you're not bottoming out and whatnot when you're doing some big jumps. Again, an aluminum motor mount that's totally adjustable. And now the pinion and the spur inside here are both 45 grade CNC machined steel. So they're no joke there. The steering CVDs right up in here and your axles, they are all made out of 1144 carbon steel. And then the dog bones use the same thing. And the rear axle as well. So all this metal is carbon steel for all the driveline stuff, center drive shaft as well. Pretty nutso, guys. Again, we mentioned those anti-roll bars there, and then the nice receiver box and electronics set up here, keeping everything nice and tight and clean, and a little bit more waterproofed. Not completely waterproof, but you know, water resistant. Should be quite helpful. Now, if we get back into these electronics, again, the ESC is a 45 amp brushless ESC with a fan on top of it. So I definitely dig that. Let's go ahead and open up this receiver box so we can see what's in there. So it is just those 3 screws. This guy pops right off. There is no gasket. I'm kind of surprised there's not a rubber gasket in there to help kind of seal that box. There's a spot for the antenna, but I don't think it was actually sitting in there. I think it fell out of this little green antenna. Might be good to pull this. If you're having range issues for any reason, I would definitely make sure you run your antenna through here. Maybe give yourself a little bit of extra there. And you can also throw your little rubber piece over to make sure we don't back out, and just kind of don't crimp it or bend it over too much, but just get ourselves so that the antenna doesn't just pull back out. Here's our little receiver here. It looks like it's how many channels is that? 6 channels on that guy, on this receiver. It is a Dumbo RC receiver. It says the distance is going to be about 150 meters. Now, obviously, even though this has 6 channels or so, our transmitter only has 4, up to 4 channels. So there's 3 and 4 on top, and they're just binary on and off. So maybe for lights or something along those lines, just a left and a right servo if you need that. But probably won't be doing too much on this guy. We do have our lights on the front here that go in there. Now, I don't know if they're always on. They're probably always on. They look like it's just a 2-wire here, so I doubt we're going to be able to turn those on and off. But there is the option there. You can always put a light control module in there for like $5 or $10. You just plug it in between your lights and your receiver, and then you can use that channel on and off to actually turn the lights on and off, which would be pretty sweet. I do kind of wish this transmitter had a foam wheel. It does feel nice though. I like that it's a little bit larger wheel. I like the larger diameter wheels personally. Even on my Noble, I run a larger diameter wheel. Kind of wish we had a little bit more resistance on the trigger. It feels a little loose, but we won't know till we drive it how it actually feels. And then of course we've got our steering trims left and right. I believe this is our throttle trim actually, and then this is going to be our throttle dual rate or our speed. So we can turn that guy down if you're going to be giving it to a newer person, or you're new, or for a kid, you need to turn that guy down. Because again, this guy is going to be a beast. So definitely want to take it easy. I'm going to pull this off to you. All these stickers on here. Too many words on some of these stickers. Too many words. We're just going to get that out of here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and plug this guy in and turn it on real quick, because this says it's steering dual rate, steering trim, but it says trim right there. So we're going to figure out what this is and let you know right now. So we'll go ahead and power up our transmitter, power up our truck, make sure we're off the ground here. Did we turn our throttle all the way down? We might have. Oh yeah. All right, so our steering. Okay, yeah, so you don't hold it, you just press it. And this is the steering trim for sure. You can see this guy. Okay, we'll get this trimmed out. Now it says steering dual rate here. I'm kind of curious if this is going to be... Oh, it looks like it is. All right, so let's go ahead and turn our steering. We can turn our dual rate down, I guess. Yeah, that's so if you have too much steering, maybe you're spinning out, doing donuts, you know, stuff like that. We can turn that down so it's less aggressive steering. Now, we usually like to crank ours up. You just want to make sure you're not overstressing your servo. and the servo saver. If you see yourself kind of pushing into the servo saver at max turn, so we're max turn and then we're still pushing into the servo saver. See that? It still goes. That means our dual rate's too high, so we should turn that down. There we go. And now we should be a lot better. We're not going to overstress the servo. All right. And then, of course, our throttle dual rate. They say throttle trim, but it's throttle dual rate. Oh, this guy's got a ton of power. I can feel it. Woohoo, buddy. Woo, buddy. All right. Let's go ahead and shut her down here. Just wanted to verify those transmitter settings. Also, I'm going to go ahead and get this battery charging so we can go run it soon. So all that being said, I like the feel of this remote. It definitely feels decent. I like the smaller transmitters personally. Throw them in a backpack, especially when you come to these small basher type rigs. Definitely want to be able to be mobile with it, right? So you don't want this big old honking transmitter that's as big as your truck. All right, so let's go ahead and get this guy back in there. There are holes in the bottom of the receiver box for these different wires to come through, so you couldn't really fully seal it anyway. I guess that makes sense why they wouldn't put a gasket in there, just because it really wouldn't do a lot. But it will help keep some of the mud and the dust and the dirt and some of the splashing out of your transmitter or your receiver. So that's good. Real quick, while we got this guy charging, I'm going to give you the dimensions of the battery, just in case you want to get another battery. It is on an XT60, so that's nice. It's kind of the standard nowadays. Looks like we're at like 34.5 millimeters wide by right at about 105. You could probably go a little longer here. You notice a little bit of space in there, but I wouldn't go too far. And then our height, we're going to be right at 22, a little over 22 and a half, so almost 23. I would say 23. You could probably fit no problem because there was a little space there as well. So yeah, definitely got a lot of battery options. 2200 milliamps seems like a plenty amount of battery to go around and have a good time bashing before you got to recharge. We've got this old Venom 2200 20C that's basically the exact same size. So we can always run this guy if we need to. It's actually just maybe a millimeter more narrow, so this guy will work just fine. Also 2200, also 3S, but I don't even know if they make these anymore. They probably don't, but I'm sure there's plenty of other batteries out there. Maybe we'll link to some in our description just so you have a couple extra batteries. All right, I want to go ahead and just compare this guy in size to some of the other mini bashers that we have, just so you can get an idea. So first things first, we're going to look at this EZRC. They call this a 1/18 scale. Clearly, it is larger than a 1/18 scale by far. Again, I think both of these guys are actually about 1/16 scale. You can see that they're very similar in size. Our tire diameter on this guy is a little smaller. Our wheelbases, this guy's just a tiny bit shorter, but the body is much wider. It's a much wider body. You can see there's quite a bit of body left over on this guy comparatively. There you go. So definitely a wider body for sure. But they're calling this guy 1/18, and I call it 1/16. This guy I think is 1/16 too. Here's an Arma Grom. Now they're calling this guy 1/18, and it is much closer to 1/18 in my opinion. Again, much smaller tires, much shorter wheelbase. The track actually isn't crazy off. That's the interesting part. The width on the track is not too far off, but much smaller body. Overall, the truck's a lot smaller. He also sits a little lower. Got an MJX here, not quite the same. This is more of a buggy, but just to kind of show you the size comparison there. And while these are not four-wheel drive, they are minis. They call this a 1/18 as well. This is a Mini T, rear-wheel drive Mini T. And then the Mini B, which they call 1/18 or 1/16. You can see the wheelbase is very similar there. It's a much smaller car though. But yeah. And I know it's a totally different market, but here's a 1/18. Again, I call this guy much closer to 1/14. Mini Capra, much larger as far as wheelbase is concerned. The length much longer, but it's also a crawler, not a basher. Okay, and an SCX24 just for fun. There's an SCX24 for comparison. Since I know a lot of my audience is into the mini crawlers, now you know the size. Right? And I might as well show it since they're here. Here's a Mojave Grom. It's almost the exact same wheelbase, actually. Interesting. How's that track width? What's the difference there? A little more narrow there. And then the Typhon, which is going to be a lot wider, almost the same track width. Just narrow tires. Almost the same length as well. Wheelbase there is very similar. Alrighty, cool. Now I do want to go ahead and open this guy up. Check out the diffs, make sure they're nice and oiled. See how our setup is here. Make sure there's nothing crazy out of place. Kind of just open it up and show you kind of what it's about. Take one of these wheels off. See what hub size it is. I believe they're standard, so we can use pretty much even 10 scale stuff on there. We'll see. So let's go ahead and start opening this guy up. Most of the screws on here are 1.5 millimeter. Most of them. There are a few that are 2 millimeter. I believe these motor mount screws. Oh, they're actually a little bigger. Motor mounts are, looks like 2.5 there. The 2 millimeters, yep, this fan, the ESC or the receiver case. So you will need a 1.5, a 2, and a 2.5 to be able to completely disassemble this guy. So for now, I just want to open up this center brace, see if we can get to the motor. Actually, it looks like we can pop this guy up right here. What is this? Let's look here. There's a 2 millimeter here. The single screw there. Now our power switch is here. So we're going to go ahead and nip this guy off. Make sure when you're cutting off zip ties, you do not cut the wires. That makes for a bad day. All right, and this guy just hinges right up with a single screw. So that's very cool. We're going to have to unplug our bullets. This is the current order they're in, red, yellow, black. So from the front, just in case you unplug them and are worried about the order in which they go back. If they go back in a different order, it'll, worst case, reverse your rotation. Okay. These look kind of small for this ESC. The bullets. All right, so there are 3.5 millimeter bullets. It's my understanding that most aftermarket ESCs for these kind of rigs run 4 millimeter bullets, so you may have to cut these off and put some new bullets on there. You're not unsoldering it from the motor because it's inside, so that may be an issue. Or you can just probably make adapters. It's probably pretty easy to make a bullet adapter to go from the smaller bullets to the larger bullets. But now we should be able to fold this guy all the way up. There we go. Can fold this guy all the way forward. Super simple. Now we can access our motor and our slipper clutch here by pulling off the rest of the stuff. Or if you're trying to clean out, like if you want quick maintenance, this would be great for just quick maintenance on inside here if you're trying to get stuff out of, dirt and rocks and leaves and stuff out of that center drive shaft area. I feel like if you're going to be pulling all this off, you could probably just pull it off with the screws that are here. So you can also pull this off. This is going to be a 2 millimeter, it looks like. So just one more screw and you're able to get the whole center thing off. Mind you, all your electronics are still going to be attached. So unless you open up your receiver box here and unplug everything from the receiver, you're not going to be able to completely get this out of here, but at least enough to get out of the way, work on your servo, work on your center shaft here. Now, if you plan on getting back here, you probably could leave this screw in here and just pull the screws out that are holding this whole brace on. We'll go and put this back in there just so we have less parts floating around. Okay, and then we should be able to just pull out these 4 to get this whole tray off. And these are the 1.5 millimeters. All right, so we went and pulled the 4 screws here, our pinion cover screw here, and then there are 2 screws underneath, these countersunk screws, and that should allow us to pull this whole back end off. Now, when I was pulling these countersunk screws out, I felt like the driver was slipping just a little bit, so you're definitely going to want to make sure you have a high quality driver set, MIP, or something that's got really tight tolerances so that you're not going to strip out these screws. This hardware seems like the tolerances might be a little off. But yeah, it's definitely slipped a little bit there. Okay, so this guy should just pop right out, maybe. Maybe we do have to keep this middle screw out. Let's go ahead and pull this guy back out just to double check. No, we're still attached somehow. What are we attached to? Looks like this center brace here for the shock tower, it needs to come out as well. So there's a screw on the back. We can go ahead and pull that guy out, and then this guy should drop right out. All these screws are the same length, so that's nice. The button heads and the countersunks. There we go. And she just pops right out. So we definitely did not need to have that center screw off. We could have left that guy in there. But it's going to be the 4 screws here, this brace screw, and then the 2 screws underneath, and the screw. Probably don't even need to pull this screw off, actually, for the cover. You need to be able to pull this whole thing out. Okay, so now we can see everything nice in there. Got our slipper. Looks like it's a double-sided, so we have 2 sides of the slipper. Nice, nice, nice. Steel pinion, steel spur. Digging that. Now this guy does come with, like I said, a second larger pinion. The one that's currently installed in here is a 0.53M or 48 pitch 16 tooth. And then the one that comes in the bag here is going to be the same thing, but it's going to be a 21 tooth. And these, again, 1144 carbon steel gears, and they're heat treated, so they should be good to go. Our slipper spur is going to be a 59 tooth. Okay. And then there's a 12 tooth. That's going to be our pinions inside there. And the differential ring gear is going to be a 30 tooth. We can check that out once we get deeper into here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and open up this rear diff now. Your shock screws here are going to be 2.5 millimeter. Yep. And then we've got a million of these little hex tools, or you can use the one that came with it, or you can use your good ones. But yeah, should be as simple as opening this up here, pulling off our shock spacer, and then there we go. Looks like a regular M3 screw, so if you ever bend one, you can easily replace that, which is nice. Go ahead and pull the shock all the way out because we're going to open it up later. 2 millimeters on this bottom screw. And this guy should pull right out. Again, pretty good feeling shocks. We'll get back to those. So getting this guy apart's pretty easy. We just took out the 6 screws. There's 1, 2, 3 here. Same 3 on the other side. Then we're pulling off our turnbuckle here and our shock here. And that'll allow us to kind of flip this all out once we get this this brace essentially off of our bumper. So we'll go ahead and pull our bumper off, or these 2 screws out of the bumper, and then you'll be able to pull it all open. Just like that. And you can flip this guy all over, and there we go. You can see everything inside now. We got our dog bones. They are full dog bones, no CVDs on the back. The fronts, I wonder if those are dog bones. No, they look like CVDs on the front. Those are CVDs in there. So that's good. CVDs in the front, dog bones in the back. There's our sway bar again. Kind of pinches down in between there, so make sure when you put it back together that it's sitting in there right. Go ahead and open this guy up here in a minute. So this guy is a 30 tooth differential ring gear. And then this guy here should be a 12 tooth. Does it just slide out? There we go, there we go, there we go. So that's a pretty simple little setup there. I dig that. Easy to adjust your slipper clutch right here. Tighten it up if you need to. All bearings, obviously. Our center shaft can pull right out, so if you bend that, you don't have to take everything apart to get that center shaft out. You can just pull off the rear, keep your front end together, which is nice. We'll get that back together here in a little bit. But yeah, pretty simple. It is nice and greased up, so I dig that. It's always why we're kind of checking. I also noticed we got some droop screws in here. So those are adjustable droop screws. If you're into racing, you know what that's about. That'll help set kind of your how far down your tire can sit, or your whole A-arm will drop. But if you hit that droop screw up and drop it in a little bit. It's going to lift this up. Okay. So some awesome adjustment there. We also have them on the front. So that's super cool. All right, let's go ahead and look inside this diff. 1.5 millimeter driver on the diff. Nice. I like that it's got the gasket in there, so we shouldn't be leaking the diff fluid that we put in there, diff oil, diff grease, whatever. Nice. All metal in there, so I appreciate that. Even our little planetary gears there, all metal. So I believe this guy inside is a 16 tooth, and then each little sun gear is a 10 tooth. This housing is plastic. Our cups are metal. Does this key in any way? No, you just got to line it up with your screws. Doesn't actually key in. But yeah, I dig that. I appreciate the all metal diffs. Unfortunately, the Grom platform, they did upgrade their diffs to metal, but they are still plastic planetary diffs. So that's definitely something you're going to want to keep in mind. But these guys look like they're going to be good to go. Maybe all the way up to 4S? Maybe. I don't know. We're going to probably keep this guy at 3S. It seems plenty fast to me from the stats we're getting. But once we experience it, we'll know if we want to go faster. I mean, everybody always likes to go faster, but, you know, this guy is pretty small, so just want to make sure we're lined up nice and flat. There's some spacers or shims in there, so just keep that in mind when you're putting it back together. Kind of making a mess here, but that's okay. It's what we do. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get this screwed back together, and then we're going to get on this shock. Okay, like I always say, don't over tighten your screws. If you're going to tighten them into metal, always use some Loctite. Here we're going into plastic, which means we don't have to tighten them too much because plastic usually holds pretty well. But if you over tighten and strip them out, you're not going to be holding it all. So just snug them up, make sure you're good there. Also on a diff, you want to make sure that everything's still nice and smooth in there once you put it together. We always like to test things as we go. Never just build it and put it all back together and then wonder why things aren't working. You got to take it all back apart. Feel everything out, and man, these diffs are super smooth. A lot of times in these smaller diffs, you can kind of feel it kind of clunk on each gear as it goes into each tooth. You kind of feel it, but these just feel buttery, man. I am digging that. All right, let's get into this shock. So as I said earlier, we have a plastic end, link end here, our shock end and our C-cup, they're all plastic, which is totally fine. And then we've got a plastic cap here, which is nice too, because again, that gives you flex. It means you're not bending shock shafts as often, or the your mount screws, stuff like that. We do have an adjustable collar, all aluminum shock here. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. We're gonna see what's inside, see if we've got a bladder, see how oil filled it is. From what we're told, it's got 500 pound oil in it, but we'll see what that looks like here. Still got greasy fingers from this diff over here. All right, nice. So it does look like we've got a bladder in here. Very good. So it's going to stay nice and sealed, also prevent, hopefully, some cavitation and air bubbles in there. Let you fill it more. And then when the shock compresses, the oil pushes into the bladder, giving it that little bit of give, making them a lot smoother and without creating air bubbles inside the shock oil. Emulsion shocks will create air bubbles, see like that? And those air bubbles are a way of tuning the shock, but in full filled oil shocks, you don't want to have air bubbles. It just makes them feel crunchy. So yeah, got our C-clip in there. Don't want to lose too much of our oil, but yeah, you should be able to pop that C-clip off and you can pull the entire shaft out. Go ahead and put this guy back on. Try to compress this a little bit so that our oil and air our air can get out, not our oil. All right. Yeah, nice and buttery smooth. Okay, let's go ahead and take our bottom cap off here. Good pair of shock pliers. We got a couple different ones. It's always nice. You don't ever want to mar up this shaft if you're trying to pull a link end off or shock end off, you always want to use some aluminum, softer material shock pliers, never just steel pliers, because you will mar that up, and that will make for a not so smooth shock. All right. So it looks like we're running an O-ring and a spacer and then another O-ring. So that's good. That helps keep the O-rings obviously help prevent oil from coming out of the shock and keeping it smooth. And then this center spacer helps keep the shock centered as it's compressing and extending, and also helps kind of prevent some of that leakage. So that's good. That's a good setup there. Sometimes they'll just have double O-rings in there, and that's not necessarily the best. And there's also a bushing in the cap, so that's going to also help keep everything true. Yeah, these feel really good. Really good. I am impressed, especially for the price of this rig. Everything is so good, and as far as quality is concerned, machining, everything seems really great. Again, I'm just shocked that they got it as cheap as they did for a brushless truck. You know, full brushless on 3S, battery included. Like, wow. All right, let's get this back together. We got our dog bone back in, or our main drive shafts back in. Our spur here, sitting nice. All of our bearings seated well. Now, when you put your diff back in, you always want to make sure your diffs are the same direction. Otherwise, you'll end up with your front going one way and your rear going the other. So you can see here, if I drop this guy in this way and we roll forward, you can see this diff is actually going backwards. So that would be bad. If we flip it to the other side, we'll be going the correct direction. All right, cool, cool. Now let's go ahead and get our dog bones put back in here. And then we will get our shock and turnbuckle put back on. Again, don't over tighten these screws. Just get them nice and snug. Okay. We don't need this in there yet. All right, our 6 screws are back in. Our bumper screws are back in. Throw our dog bone in here. Then into our wheel hub. And get our tie rod screwed back in. You do have 2 points of adjustment on the tie rod. Let me show you that real quick. Super cool that we can adjust our tie rods. Stock configuration is in the lower tie rod. So we'll go ahead and leave that there for now. I love that there's tunability here though. Multiple shock mounting positions, multiple tie rod mounting positions. Freaking awesome. Something I kind of want to check on here to see if we're Loctited. So I'm going to pull these off here in a minute and we'll see if our motor mount's Loctited in there, because a lot of times that's something that'll end up coming loose and then your mesh is bad, and it could be bad times if it's not properly seated. And then our shocks are in the outer position here. So we can go ahead and throw our screw into the outer position. And again, this screw is going in the plastic, so don't get nuts with your over tightening. It's pretty unlikely that a screw going into plastic backs out. So just snug it up and you're golden. Our shocks are in the center of the 3 shock mounting positions. Actually, this guy goes this way. And then it looks like our ball joint's the same on both sides, so we don't have to worry about that being a certain direction. Sometimes the ball joints are longer on one side. Actually, it does look a little longer on the side. Maybe it's just the angle we're at. I think it's the same on both sides, so we should be good. And then put our nut on the bottom. It's a nylock nut, so that's good. You don't need Loctite on that. Just make sure that your threading of your screw actually reaches the nylock. Again, these screws are 2.5s. And the nut is a 5.5. These guys you can tighten down pretty good. Again, you just want to make sure that your nylock from this nut is actually on the threading of the screw. If for some reason it's not reaching there, then you probably will lose your nut. Actually, I might have over tightened this just a little bit. Yeah, we're good. You don't want to crush your spacer in there. All right. Just want to make sure our diffs feel good in there. Yeah. Seems good. All right, let's check and make sure there's some Loctite on there, just so you know. You don't need to do this unless there's not Loctite. But we will pop one of these screws out, and then if there is no Loctite, oh, they're pretty good. They're pretty tight. So hopefully that's Loctite, not over-tightened. Oh, nice. There's a washer on there, and yes, there is Loctite on there. Awesome. So we'll go and throw a little bit back on there and put her back in. No reason to pull out the other one. And again, when you use Loctite, you don't have to over-tighten like crazy, right? You can just get it nice and snug. All right, so I just kind of want to check how to remove our A-arms in case we ever bend a kingpin. It should be as simple as these. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. This screw right here. Yeah, make sure you're fully inserted. This driver is scaring me right now. I need to go get my 1.5 MIP. So MIP is known for having really good tolerances. Like, their drivers are always very precise in their tips. They also don't round. So whenever I have a difficult screw, I always just go grab the MIP if I don't have one already on my desk. But yeah, these guys have a little bit of play in them, these screws. So just be aware when you're doing that. Especially on these bottom screws, it's going to be rough if you're scraping up this plate and these screws are getting pretty scraped up. It's always scary to have these so exposed. I kind of wish they countersunk the screws even more so that they were sitting into the plate more, almost like you had a 3mm plate and the first millimeter of it is countersunk into the plate so that the screws sit a millimeter underneath the plate, or even a 0.5 millimeter, just so that as the plate wears, your screws don't just get totally destroyed. And this rig has a ton of screws on the bottom, so those are all exposed, and as this gets scraped up, it's going to get very difficult to get some of these screws out. Worst case, if you ever do have a screw strip out and you can't get it out, just take a Dremel with a grinding wheel on it, something like this, and try to grind a slot in if you can, and then you can use a flathead screwdriver to unscrew them. All right, so let's see, this guy pops out, maybe, just as simple as that. I'm sure we're gonna have to do our bumper as well. I just want to see if this, yeah, this should just slide out. All right, let's go ahead and pull our rear screws for our bumper. It is kind of frustrating that some of them are 2mm screws and some of them are 1.5s. They should have just gone with all 2mm or all 1.5s, either way. Having multiple sizes just gets kind of tedious. It's okay though. I get it. Smaller truck, so you want to use the smaller screws where you can. All right, there we go. And then this should just slide right out. Simple as that. And then you can slide out your A-arms if you happen to break an A-arm or bend a kingpin. You can just pull them out, put a new one in. Super simple. I appreciate that. Literally 4 screws. I dig it. Now, kind of a funny thought. I sometimes wonder if they make these tolerances on these screw heads not as tight as they could be because they end up getting filled with dirt and banged up pretty bad. So maybe having a little less tighter tolerance allows you to more easily get your driver in there when there's dirt or marring that happens on the front of the face. I don't know. Shouldn't justify bad hardware, but maybe that's their thoughts. Not sure. Something else I noticed while we were down here is this screw here is an adjustable slot, and that's your servo. So you should be able to adjust your servo for different size servos and slide your servo tray. So that'll be nice if you ever need to change that or adjust that. So you know what? I'm curious. Hold on. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna unscrew this thing. Just see what's going on there. What is this doing? Yeah. So it does slightly adjust side to side. So I wonder if that's going to help kind of your drag link lengths or different servo sizes if they're offset from your center here a little bit. Helps you just get that little bit of adjustment, which is nice. We were all the way forward, so we'll make sure it stays all the way forward. Awesome. Kind of wish that was an aluminum part, the servo mount that this is going into. Another thing about that servo is it's an all metal gear servo, with the exception of one smaller gear down inside is plastic, but all the gears, the main gears, are all metal. They're aluminum, so it's better than plastic for sure. Not as good as steel, but definitely better than plastic. And yeah, I think we're good here. I think we're going to go ahead and just get her all back together. If I missed something that you wanted to see, put it down in the comments. Oh, let's go ahead and pull a wheel off. That's something I almost forgot. I'm going to get this guy back together, then we'll pull a wheel off. Then we'll go run it. All right, we're all back together. Let's go ahead and get our wheel off here. See what size hex it is. I believe it's a 12 millimeter, which is nice because then, like I said, we can use all the standard stuff. Hex is still attached. There we go. All right. Yeah, that's going to be a 12, but we'll just verify. Yep. And then while we're at it, let's go ahead and measure these tires, just so you guys know. Lug to lug, we're looking at 86 millimeters. Our actual inner wheel size, just in case you care about that for clearance reasons or anything like that. Looks like we're right around 52, maybe 53, 52, 53 millimeters. Yeah, 53 millimeters. And then they are 42, 43 wide. Yeah, 43 wide, 43 and a half, maybe even 44. Yeah, we'll call it 44. Cool. Yeah, 85. 85-ish. All right. So that's cool because that means we can put any kind of 12 millimeter tires. And there's a lot of different options out there. These are just some Amazon specials, you know. If we don't lose our pin. But yeah, can drop those on there if we wanted. Can drop something smaller on there. Like so. Yeah. It's lots of options, which is cool. And they even have a little shim or spacer in there on the bearing. Nice. Stuff like that is what pushes the quality of things to the next level. Like, I really appreciate that. It just means things run more smoothly. Things are a little bit more precise. When you have tighter tolerances and things are fitting nicely, you're less likely to have breakages. Freaking sweet. And then these guys are also nylocked, so shouldn't have any issues with your wheel nuts coming off. Now, because I like this body so much, I'm going to put some dragon grips on them. Check these guys out. They're on Amazon. This is not sponsored in any way. We just like these things. They're pretty sweet. They've got clear, they've got black, and they just go on your body so that, you know, your clips and your impacts don't completely destroy your body. Like I said, the weakest part of a Lexan is almost always where your body clips go. And the rear here is going to be nice and taken care of, but we're going to protect the front with just a little bit. They come in nice big sheets. You got different shapes, different sizes, and yeah, they're definitely good for the bashers out there. Definitely check them out. Here's some info. Facebook, Insta, TikTok. Give it the scan. All right, guys? All right, we're going to get these on here. We're going to get out of here. We're going to go run it. Oh, another thing I wanted to point out about these guys is if you have body clips without tethers, they kind of help keep your body clips from just sliding out so easily. It also gives a little padding and cushion in there. If you really wanted to double it up, you could put another set on the inside, and then you're double cushioned. But yeah, we dig these things quite a bit. So just wanted to share it. All right, let's just go do a quick little rip. And then we'll do some speed tests. Oh man, this thing's got some power. Oh, that was wild at speed. Does doesn't take much. Oh, what? Did we already lose a clip? Oh no. This one actually ripped right off. Well, okay, that's a thing. Okay, brakes are kind of sensitive. Jeez. I am barely touching the brakes. Guess I need to be just let off the brakes. Just let off the gas instead of braking. Oh my God, we're not even on the big pinion yet. Definitely gonna take a quick beating out here if I keep driving it like that, I guess. All right, let's try to get a speed run in. Let's see what we get here. We're gonna take it down to the end of the street and bring it back. Try to keep the front end down. All right, let's see what we got here. Stop, read. 47. So when we go to the next pinion, the bigger pinion, it should be like 62. So that's still nuts. That is absolutely insane for this little of a guy. I mean, this thing's got insane power. And I'm barely even, it'll do a wheelie at probably 25, 30 miles an hour. It'll pop a wheelie. Let's go ahead and run another one real quick. I think we need more space. All right, stop, read, 45. Yeah, we need more space. Uh-oh. That doesn't help. GPS came off. All right, let's just do a couple. We'll do another rip here, and we'll see how she does. We'll try one more time, maybe two. See if I can go this way, get a little bit better run without worrying about hitting these cars here. Oh my God, that is so nuts. Again, can't tap the brake at full speed, that's for sure. Oh my God, what is going on? This thing's a monster. It's a monster. 46. It's crazy. I don't even know about the other pinion. Jeez. 62 miles an hour is what that other pinion should get us. Man, we need the wheelie bar. I think before we do the 62, we need to get a wheelie bar on this guy. Oh my God. That is nuts. Actually, here, since we were running it, let's test the temp real quick. 120 on the motor. ESC seems fine. It's a lot cooler. 103, 105. It's hard to tell with the fan on there, but 104. See on the motor on the back here. 117, probably like 125 because it's sat for maybe 30 seconds. Looks like it's cooling pretty quick though. Not too bad. Everything seems good. That larger pinion will definitely be a important time to check the temperature on that guy. Yeah. We're under 120, so that's good. All right, let's go get that pinion on there in the wheelie bar. Man, that is unfortunate. We didn't even do any crazy hits. Just a lot of scraping. Everything else seems pretty okay though. All right, this wheelie bar should be a super simple install here. Actually, and while we do that, we're gonna go ahead and charge up this battery just to make sure they're fully charged. We should have plenty left. We didn't run it too long, so let me get this charged, get this installed. Also, this thing, man, I really hate that there's not a power switch on this. This is the dumbest thing. This little GNSS performance analyzer from SkyRC is awesome, but it doesn't have a physical power switch on it, so it's always on. So last time I used it, it was at 100%. I used it, it was down to maybe 90%, but then it sat for a couple days and it was down to like 42%. And now we're at 39 already, just because you can never turn it off. So you have to always charge it, make sure it's charged before every run. I might do a video showing how to install a switch on this guy, because it should be pretty easy just to have a little on and off switch we can put in here somewhere. And yeah, so if you've got one of these, keep an eye out for that. Let me know in the comments below if you think I should do a video on that. I think I'm going to. I'm going to do it for me for sure, but a video, yeah, let me know. All right, so let's go ahead and get this wheelie bar, very much needed wheelie bar installed. I don't know if it's because it's got a lot of torque. It just seems like it wants to wheelie every time you give it any amount of throttle, even when you're at a pretty high speed. You saw that. And I race Mini Z, and I don't have like the heaviest trigger finger. I got a little bit of a heavy trigger finger, but not that heavy. And it's got so much power. So maybe this larger pinion will actually help tame it down, the wheelies, because it's going to have less torque, more high end. So that might be good. So let me get this. Let's see. How do we install this guy? This wheelie bar here. I'm not sure how this guy installs. Oh, just right on the bumper here. Super simple. All right, 4 screws on the bumper, good to go. All right, let me get that done. Pretty simple. Just got to compress your tire here, your wheel, so that you can get room in there for your driver. And that guy just screwed right in. Simple as that. Get this guy on there. Do the top screw. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now we'll get that pinion on there, that bottom screw, top screw here. This guy should lift right out. And then our 2 larger screws up here. Again, these guys are 2.5 millimeter screws. Don't lose your little washers. We should be able to slide this guy right out. Fold this out. And hopefully this will come right out, no problem. Yep, there we go. All right, let's get this other pinion on there. Way to go. Here it is. Oh man. We'll see if we get some heat issues. Hopefully we won't get any heat issues. Nice. I feel like that means it was Loctited. Yep, a little bit of Loctite there on the pinion and the grub screw, so that's good to know. I guess we should probably Loctite ours. Okay, take it back in. Make sure the pinion looks like it's fine. Yeah, it looks good. And we're just gonna have to check our mesh. So when you're doing mesh, you always want just the tiniest bit of play between your spur and your pinion. And usually the motors kind of have a lot of resistance in them, so filling that's going to be a little difficult. So what you can do is you can stop, make sure the pinion doesn't move at all, and then just use your drivetrain here and see if you can see down in there. Now you guys aren't going to be able to see because it is down in there, so I'm going to get a light and try to look, but actually here maybe you can. That's a little better there. So you can kind of see the spur in there. And if you can get just the tiniest bit of play between your drive line and your pinion, you'll be golden. You just don't want it too tight. If it's too tight, you'll heat up your motor and you'll burn things up. If it's too loose, obviously you're going to have issues with slippage and whatnot. So let me get the screws back in here. And we're going to Loctite these again as well, because there was Loctite on those. All right, tiny bit of Loctite on that guy. And get these guys started. That way we can slide our motor back and forth just a little bit and make sure we're not too tight on our mesh here. Now I can see the spur in there just barely moving, so that should be good. We're going to tighten it down snug and then just check again. So I'm holding this tire too while I do it. That way I've only got one tire to turn. Yeah, you can see it in there just barely move while I hold the pinion. That should be good. All right. We'll go ahead and snug it up a little more. And I guess we're going to go see if this wheelie bar helps, because I'm thinking no matter what, out of the box, you probably need to throw this wheelie bar on, because it's pretty wild. This is definitely one of the most wild, higher speed RTRs I've ever ran. I haven't seen anything claim the speeds that this has at this size for sure. So definitely bonkers. I love it. It's absolutely insane. Okay, let's get that battery in there and try again. So we'll go ahead and try to do this. I don't know if I have enough space though, so let's see. We'll go ahead and take it down to the end. Hopefully we've got enough space, but I doubt it. Oops. Let's see here. Looks like that one's 54. I don't know if we're going to be able to hit 62 with the space we have. Clearly, we don't have enough space. Well, guys, it's just too fast for the space I have right here, so I might have to try to find another spot to run it, because there's no way I'm running it in front of my house. 54 was really, I mean, it's too scary to run up and down this short street, especially with cars. So we'll try to figure out something. Felt like I was on full throttle for just maybe half a second, and it started to lift, so I let back off, and we still didn't catch full speed. So like really, we probably passed it 75% throttle. I couldn't keep it down with this amount of space. I was trying to get more speed. We just don't have the space to do that without it lifting. So it's pretty nuts that it lifts like that. That is wild. There's a lot of speed in this little guy. It's insane. So we're just going to come out to the track and rip it around a little bit. It's still on the big pinion, so that means I got to be a little careful, just not go too crazy on it. Our track is not that big, but should be a good time. We'll just see how it rips around in the dirt. I want to see how it handles in the dirt for now. I'm sure we'll do more videos on this guy in the future. It's pretty bonkers. I keep saying it. One of the things, so I always see people do speedrun videos and top speeds. That's because everybody wants to verify that they're top speeds. They want to know how fast they go and stuff like that. But really, I mean, this guy's not made for speed. It's made for ripping in the dirt. Now, speed in the dirt, yes, but like road speed, it sits way too high. Like tires way too big. If you wanted to really go fast, you definitely lower this guy to the ground, throw some smaller road tires on it, and then you could really get some speed runs out of it. But as it sits, it's meant for this. It's meant for the dirt.
Out on the track, it's a sight to behold. 14th scale, ready to take a stand. Feel the roar, hear the engines cry, racing through the dirt, soaring through the sky. Rlaarlo Gladiator, a blower on wheels, fast as a flash, it's all about how it feels. Rough terrain, no problem, it's got what it takes. In the kingdom of bashers, make no mistakes. 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 With tires that grip, it conquers the course. Amazing control, always in full force. Durability unmatched, it takes every hit. Fast as lightning, it won't ever quit. Gliding smooth like a wolf on the chase. This off-road beast sets the pace. Rlaarlo Gladiator, a blower on wheels, fast as a flash, it's all about how it feels. Rough terrain, no problem, it's got what it takes. In the kingdom of bashers, make no mistakes. Make no mistakes. Make no mistakes. Make no mistakes. In the dust and the grime, it stands supreme. Rlaarlo Gladiator, living the dream. Make no mistakes. Make no mistakes. Make no mistakes. Make no mistakes. In the dust and the grime, it stands supreme. Rlaarlo Gladiator, living the dream. Make no mistakes. Make no mistakes. Make no mistakes. Make no mistakes.
So it looks like we're ballooning a tire. Woo, dangerous. It's a proper basher. All right, let's go ahead and get temperatures. Didn't lose our body clips up front. Yeah, buddy. Our little protectors here saved us, I think. $159. $147, $160. Looks like we're hitting $160 right in there. I don't know if you can see it. We're getting right at the bottom of the 168. All right, so we're getting pretty warm. So definitely watch your temperatures when you're running that bigger pinion. The SC seems fine. Trying to get it right down below the fan, underneath. Yeah, the SC seems fine. That motor though, just keep an eye on it. 168, 170. Ooh, yeah, she's hot. She's hot. Okay, let's get it back on the bench. Look at our phone. Oof. Dirt. It kicks up the dust. Man, I gotta just say, this thing is an absolute monster. I highly recommend if you're gonna be running it on the streets, just actually in general, I would definitely put this wheelie bar on before you even power it up. You saw what we did. We just ground through it. We were hauling butt, flipping on the back. Not ideal. but our mirror survived, which is awesome. We didn't lose any body clips, even though we cut some of the wires. One of the wires pulled through. I don't want to call them wires, but the little elasticy things. These things are awesome, by the way. Like, I love that they come with these. I just feel like their holes might have been a little too big, so that allowed this one to pull through a little bit there, but we can always get new ones and bigger ones and stuff like that. And then we just got unlucky. First flip over just sheared this guy right off. So it is what it is. I'm not too worried about it. Pretty freaking awesome, though. This plastic piece, I think I know why they put it there, because you kind of need it. Because if you didn't have this as a hard plastic, I don't know if this truck body would survive one run, of bashing it, one session of bashing. We really beat it up bad on the concrete there, and we didn't even like skate park bash it, you know what I mean? But I'm sure we will at some point. So definitely make sure you like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe, let you know when new videos are coming. Hit the notification bell, then you know when they're uploaded. We're going to do more stuff with this for sure. I want to hit that top speed. I have no doubt. In fact, I've seen other people hit the 62, 63, 61 miles per hour, which is that 100 kilometers an hour. You just got to have the room. And we do not have the room, not where we were. So maybe at some point we'll find another spot and try to run it there. We do have to fix our tire. We ballooned the hell out of this tire. Hopefully, let's give it a look here. Hopefully it just came unglued. Yeah, we didn't actually tear the tire. It looks like it just came unglued. We were pushing it full throttle and letting it kind of sit on one side, which causes the diff to put all the power to the not gripped wheels, the not bound up wheels. So it definitely was probably more than it normally would get. But yeah, we'll just throw some glue in there. We didn't tear it at all. That's awesome. Anything else anywhere else? No, I think we're good. I think we're good. Everything still feels good. Everything's still straight, other than our wobbly tire when we're ballooning. Seems great, though. I am thoroughly impressed with the Rlaarlo, and I definitely think I want to check out some more, because I just love the way these things look. I love the chassis. They remind me, so putting a cool design on a basher chassis makes no sense, because you're just going to scratch the shit out of it. And it's just going to get destroyed, right? So, but the funny thing is, I was a skateboarder when I was younger, and you wanted the coolest deck, right? Like, you'd get your coolest board and the sickest artwork on it, get custom art. You didn't have people sign it, and it doesn't matter. You didn't care. It was about getting cool artwork and then not caring that in 5 minutes you're going to destroy it when you grind it across something. I feel like bashing is the same thing. You want something awesome that you know is awesome, and then you just go bash the heck out of it and just beat it up and scratch it and get it all tore up. I dig that. I think that's cool as hell. So I really appreciate that Rlaarlo puts in the extra effort to give us a cool etched chassis. That way, out of the box, you're just like, man, that's beautiful, but I'm going to destroy that thing. And you don't care. You don't care. So I love that. I love that. Anyway, cool rig. I'm going to check out more Rlaarlo stuff. Let me know down in the comments below what I should check out. And yeah, I had a blast with this thing, and it's a performer. I mean, again, I've never seen a rig this small go that fast, ever. And it handles well. It's just, again, I don't have the space, and I'm not used to a high center of gravity rig going that fast. Like, we're used to stuff that's millimeters off the ground. So, yeah, it's nuts that you can just give it, you're at like quarter throttle, half throttle, and if you go from half throttle to full throttle and you're at speed, it'll just flip it backwards. Like, that's bonkers wild. Anyways, I'm ranting here, guys. Hopefully you can tell how excited I am about this thing. It's just too cool. And yeah, I hope I don't break anything, but we haven't broken anything yet, which is awesome. I'm sure if we skate park bash it, we might end up with, a little bent something here or there, or maybe a broken A-arm. But these A-arms are beefy. I mean, those are beefy for the size of truck. I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. We'll probably end up bending something metal first. But yeah. Pretty sweet, guys. Appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for your time. I know it's the most important thing that everybody on this planet has is time. So when you give me your time, know that I appreciate it. We also have a ton of channel members. You guys are the best. You guys make this channel what it is. Allow me to do what I want to do to show you guys awesome things. And yeah, if you want to help support the channel, become a channel member. They get behind the scenes footage. They get, you get to see videos before anybody else without ads. So all the videos, when they get uploaded, they get to see them immediately. And then a couple days later, the videos go public. Sometimes it's longer, depends on how busy I am. Sometimes they'll sit for a week or two before they go public. So they get to see them early, which is awesome. They also get direct access You can come into our Discord, but there's a channel specifically for channel members in our Discord, as well as priority comment replies. If you have any questions or comments on the YouTube videos, it highlights those for me for channel members, and I can make sure I reply to them. I try to reply to everybody anyway, but as the channel grows, it's going to become impossible. And so channel members definitely get that benefit. Plus, when we do giveaways, they get extra entries into those giveaways. And there's other ways to get extra entries as well, not just channel members, but that's one of the ways. Anyway, so huge shout out to the channel members. Thank you guys for watching. Also, we have swag. If you want to check out our swag, we don't make any money on it, just enough to kind of cover the fluctuation in price. We make like 10 cents to $1, depending on the price fluctuations. But really, it's just about sharing your love for the channel, showing other people out there who we are. And we totally appreciate that. On that note, again, liking, subscribing, sharing, and hitting that notification bells are the best things you can do, especially that share. The subscribe is just a click for you, but it means the world to me. So until next time, make sure you get out there and build something awesome. Build a car, build a course, build a community, and then smash it, crash it, and bash it. But don't break the expensive parts. And we haven't broken anything yet. Except a tire, I guess. Not really broken. We'll glue it. Peace.